Toka mwanzo tumeunga mkono kampeni ya Lishe, na sisi kama One Voice tuna miradi, achana na miradi ya mboga mashuleni, sisi kama One Voice tuna miradi ya samaki, fish, na tunajua kwamba fish ina protein, na tunajua shida nyingine, protein imekuwa shida kwenye mikoa ya nyanda za juu kusini, kama hiyo miradi ya wanyama, lakini samaki tumeona kama ni changamoto kubwa. Kwa hiyo tunachokifanya, kwanza tunatoa elimu ya uchimbaji wa mabwawa, pia tuna uwezo wa kusupply vifaranga vya samaki, lakini pia tunatoa consultation kwenye chain ya samaki baada ya kufanya utafiti. Na tumeona kitoweo kwa Njombe imekuwa ni changamoto. It is available but not affordable. Sometimes it is reachable but you cannot buy. Hiyo kitoweo kama nyama, kama hiyo samaki, kama nyama ya kuku. Kwa hiyo tunaelimisha jamii kuwa na miradi nyumbani, sio kwenda sokoni, sio kwenda dukani. Kama utahitaji samaki, wale wanaoweza kufuga basi wafuge. Lakini tumekuwa na jamii ambayo ina uwezo wa kufuga samaki, lakini tumekuwa na mazoea ya kufanya kilimo cha mazao ya chakula, hasa mahindi, viazi vitamu, kuna numbu na vile vyakula vya asili, cereals. Kwa hivyo havina mchango mkubwa sana kwenye protein. Kwa hiyo tunahamasisha vilimo mchanganyiko. Kama utafuga samaki, utafuga kuku, utalima viazi, utalima mahindi. Kwa hiyo tunaamini kama mashirika kwamba kile ambacho una consume 90% kitoke kwenye local environment kuliko kwenda kununua. Kwa hiyo tunajaribu kuwafundisha wananchi wetu, raia wetu kupitia mikutano ya vijiji, kupitia makongamano, warsha mbalimbali, lakini hata kwenye mashule pia tunapita. Tunamwambia mtoto, nenda kamwambie mama wamesema angalau kwa wiki tupate dagaa kidogo, tupate matunda, tuwe na maziwa. Kwa hiyo kiutani wazazi wanaelewa. Na kwa hiyo sisi tunashukuru, tuko pamoja, tushirikiane. Asante sana.
Our management basically, and then as we discussed with the management, it was agreed that let's work with the region. And then from a first proposal let me call it the first draft 0 of the response plan, we basically decided that let's bring our team to work with the region. And then 1, 2, 3 you have the response plan, 3, 4, 5 you have Lishe Yamonao, and then 6, 7, 8 other partners that you mentioned joined the boat. I can't remember the name of all partners, but I know there was Panita, there was Compassion. Sorry? One Voice as well. And Wodo, and then maybe other more. So I think what we see is there is some progress from the presentation you've made. A lot of things have been done. I think one of the things that to me is a big highlight in what you presented is the fact that you really embraced doing nutrition the right way through multi-sectoral engagement. And you could see that from the slides, okay, the way you went to other sectors that include agriculture, that include livestock and fisheries, but also sectors such as health in terms of the promotion of good infant and young child feeding practices. From some of the partners, I could see that some of the partners are working in either child protection and nutrition or social protection and nutrition. It was not clear to me. And also with one of the other partners, we were looking at governance. In terms of governance, you presented a slide that was really impressive. And on one of the slides you could see, I don't know for which financial year, but you could see the amount of resources that the district councils, right? DCs are planning, I think, to invest in nutrition. And what was really striking is to see one of the districts planning for close to 11,000 shilling. And then the other one were very much higher than the 1,000 shilling that we keep hearing, which we know is severely insufficient to address child malnutrition in Tanzania. But then on average you could see something like almost 4,000 shillings for I guess the region. I think this is something you need to celebrate. I think this is something that for the district colleagues who are not around here, they really need to hear that this is the right way. The right way is not to not to try to reach 1,000. The right way is to do everything they can to ensure programs are available for the vulnerable population, for the Wananchi, so that we can all together make it work and advance, good programming for nutrition across sectors. You've also presented the initiative or the activity you called Lishe ya Mwanao Bonanza, which I was asking my colleagues while you were speaking, when did it happen? Because I have some few ideas. And we learned earlier that it was an activity that I think was mainly created to bring males on board, and you find a way through, I think, a soccer game or soccer-related activities to bring them on board, and really this is fantastic. This is whichever the activity, it's fantastic, and there's something that I think you didn't say, but for me that what I was picking from the many lead farmers, and that we saw around the rabbit and also the agricultural product that we were displaying, is in fact by engaging with those actors themselves will pay a different kind of attention to the nutrition in their whole family, their children, their extended family, because now they involve as a stakeholder of the project. But basically you're also building a culture, a new culture in my view, of taking care of our nutrition. You also said towards the end that you have artists who wants to join and I think create songs. Basically you're creating a new culture for child nutrition in Njombe. And I think this is excellent. This is excellent. And obviously there are some few things that, beside the nice stuff to say that I would like to say, so if you give me a few minutes, I think you were able to bring new stakeholders for nutrition, particularly local CSO, which is great. They also bring technical expertise, but also financial resources. And then on the other side, we saw, I guess it was for year 2, government putting more resources for the region, putting more resources for nutrition. This is really good because what we saw as well is a kind of heavy reliance on partners funding in year 1. Year 1 having been a year of start, one can say it's okay, but it's good that we balance that and that we get to increase more partners, more government resources. I think it would be interesting to check at some point the role that the Njombe response plan to reduce stunting has created in terms of funding by the region. So what was the funding that the region was investing in nutrition before the response plan? And what's happening now? Because potentially what you might see is that the leadership of wanting to have a plan is followed through by the DCs and therefore the region putting more resources. This is another very good practice. If indeed it is verified. So this is something that we can check. But I think that's already what you're saying. Now, the last thing I want to say is, when you look at, you spoke about the compact meeting that some partners are supporting and the compact proceedings. In January, right, that I wrote, it was in January, we had the national compact meeting in Dodoma. And Waziri Professor Shadwe was speaking. And he said something that to me is still in my head. He said, look, when we started the compact, all indicators were red. You remember that? Yes. And now they're all green. So he said we moved from, for those who like soccer, from Simba to Yanga. So besides, soccer preference, color preference, there is also another question. Most of the indicators you're working on through Lishe Yamwa now, many of them, they are not in the compact, isn't it? Many of the indicators that are in the compact, you've already achieved basically saturation. You already are doing great. In short, they are not good indicators anymore on the progress you're making on. Which means that maybe what we should do, and even Njombe could take the lead, what will be better indicator to show and witness progress? Because here you're making progress, so that you can now inform the whole nation. Being green all the time and stunting is at 30% or 50, 40% doesn't mean anything. So can you help make the nutrition compact indicator more relevant for the Wananchi? So when the political figures, the president, the minister, the regional commissioner, they're looking at that, they say, here we have something that is a bit red, a bit orange, we're going to focus on it. If everything is red, what are you going to focus on? You don't need to do anything.
If it's green.
If you're green. So I think that's something important. And my last point is, the way I saw your government putting more resources from the planning. This is something that I think we need to bring to Regional Commissioner Mtaka, the initiative that UNICEF is leading globally, that we've been presenting to Professor Shandwe, the Waziri Damiseni, about the Child Nutrition Fund, which basically means that this is also to incentivize government to invest more cash, more resources for child nutrition. For every Tanzanian shilling the government invests in nutrition, it starts from the DCs, the regions, UNICEF will match. For every Tanzanian shilling you put in nutrition, whether it's on breastfeeding promotion, complementary feeding, maternal nutrition, supplementation, MNPs that you're doing, or new innovation that you're not doing, including what you mentioned as a gap. We don't have supplies for treatment of severe wasting, we don't have therapeutic milk, we don't have IUTF, including the treatment of severe wasting. So for every dollar or every Tanzanian shilling the government put in nutrition, under those activities we can share the material, you have to apply, UNICEF can match to the Child Nutrition Fund. This will help you move from, when you see Makete 11,000 shilling. Imagine if Makete says now, with the support of an honorable regional commissioner, we want to try to go to 20. UNICEF can come with the Child Nutrition Fund and put you at 40. I can tell you your targets, you're going to achieve them faster.
So, thank you so much. The Chief of Nutrition, UNICEF, actually have said it. Thank you so much, and you are still welcome to visit again and again. Like Beth said, we've had different people coming from the donor to learn something from us. So we have a lot to showcase to others, and I think Njombe will keep on leading the way, as usual, like you said. So thank you so much, and I wish you all the best. Have a good